happen now. I put this one in because I had no idea that hawks ate caterpillars. Now, and this is not a monarch caterpillar, but it's going to be a nice big sphinx caterpillar of some kind. But birds, little insect-eating birds, need 100 caterpillars a day to feed their babies. And so when we see all those nice little songbirds up there in the trees, they're getting nice little tiny caterpillars, not always tiny, and to feed their young. So it's essential, you see, that we do what we can to increase the number, not decrease the number of caterpillars. This shows you how drastic decline there was. See the huge decline between 2003 and 2014? And there, it can be, we can really help them. I mean, and I'll tell you a little about what's going on. There's another example to show you. Population in 1996, 51 acres and 1 billion monarchs. 2013, 33 million. Look at the difference. And all the statistics are out now for this year. So it's 80 to 90% decrease just this year. And one of the reasons is the main, over 50% of the monarchs that overwinter in Mexico are coming down through the Midwest in the Corn Belt. And the corn and soybean belt all through our Midwest. Monsanto has created a soybeans and corn that are modified to withstand the Roundup herbicide that is sprayed on those fields. We lost 24 million acres in just 6 years in the Corn Belt. Because nothing can grow in those fields except the modified corn and soybeans. And it used to be that if you were driving in the prairies and you were driving in that area, you would see milkweed growing between the crops and on the edges of the field. But that's impossible now. Nothing can grow there, except for the modified plants. Now, this chemical that you will hear a lot more about as everybody's working on this monarch thing, 2 million pounds. And this is not just on the crops. This is in our homes and our industry and agriculture. 2 million pounds a year of this particular Roundup, you know what Roundup is put on these fields. That's as much as 100 African elephants would weigh. Okay, that's it. Put that in a little perspective. There are ways to assist. There's the Corn Belt right here that I was talking about. This is the main area for the breeding and migration, all this central area of the Corn Belt. Now, we used to have plenty of them coming through on the East Coast too. Now, if you go to Cape May, New Jersey at migration time, it's a big flyway for monarchs. Fewer this year, but some of you may even remember. I have friends that grew up in Charlottesville, and they remember having to stop their cars on Preston Avenue because the monarchs were so thick that they had to stand still. And after Afton Mountain, where the hawk migration is in the fall. It was not but 5 years ago that the hawk counters, the watchers, had to stop counting the hawks because of how thick the flight of monarchs was over Afton for a good half hour. Now, so the decline is rapid. It's not been something that's, the monarch migration's been going on for hundreds and hundreds of years. The Aztecs had pictures of the monarchs in Mexico in their art. So it's not, it's a very old migration. But a lot of people, including Venable School, I have a sign over there, a metal sign that says Monarch Way Station. This slide right here with the numbers on it shows how many Monarch Way Stations have been created by parks and schools and just individuals in their yards, and maybe someday at Westminster Canterbury, up there where those gorgeous raised beds are. 509 as of last year in Virginia. A Monarch Way Station provides for butterflies and monarchs, also monarchs. Milkweed, 2 or 3 kinds, doesn't have to be. We may only have 1 kind at Venable, just the common one. And nectarine plants. And that's the main thing, that you have a lot of native plants, and that's providing for these monarchs when they're flying over, and other butterflies like the black swallowtail. We have rue and fennel and parsley. All of those plants attract the black swallowtail butterfly, who lays their eggs on it. Now, if you want to eat some parsley, forget it, because though that black swallowtail lays a lot of eggs on one plant, and you won't have any parsley, but you'll have a beautiful caterpillar who will, many of them, who, if the birds will eat some of them, but otherwise, you'll have helped nurture a number of black swallowtails, which is a beautiful local butterfly. So it's not just milkweed, it's the nectarine plants, and as I explained, native. There's a book over on the table that's sitting up in the middle of the table. If you had no other book but that one, it's a Talamy book, right over there. That's the book to help you understand what kind of gardening and plantings we need to be doing from now on. Now, there are a whole lot of other caterpillars, and they're ones that you're going to see if you start looking like I do and get obsessive about it. I'm dying to come back to your, down there where that pond is, and walk around at caterpillar time this spring and summer and see what I can find. Now, what I'll be doing will be turning over every leaf that I can reach and see what I can find. Now, this one up here now is called a milkweed tussock. It's going to be a moth, and there are a lot of them on milkweed plants. The milkweed itself is a whole huge community of life. There are lots of things that live on milkweed, and that's a good, fun thing to read about. This particular one, when you touch the plant, they all curl up and drop on the ground. And those little hairs do not sting or anything like that. They don't sting, and they're just going to become a kind of nondescript moth. You recognize that one? Woolly bear? You know, the woolly bear that predicts the weather?
Didn't see many.
Of course it doesn't. But the old wives' tale was that if, depending upon the width of the band of the color, it would be either a harsh winter or a mild winter. That, of course, is not true, but it was fun to think about. And this particular caterpillar will be an Isabella moth, and it overwinters underneath the old log as a caterpillar. It doesn't make its cocoon since it's until spring.